Hey there, Space Monkeys. Welcome to Political Fight Club. I'm Robert Durden. We're going to continue with Dreamland today. Hopefully finish up this chapter today. It's been a very long one. This is part 3, Junkie Kingdom in Dreamland. This is page 215, where they're talking about Walmarts and how, especially in kind of like rural America, the parts that Walmart had to play in terms of the pill industry. A lot of people would go and shoplift from there so that they could pawn stuff or, figure out other ways to make money so that they could support their pill addiction. So we're about a third of the way down on page 215. Walmart was often the only place to buy most of life's essentials in those heartland towns. Strolling their Walmarts, I imagined its aisles haunted by the ghosts of store owners who once sustained small-town America. On one aisle was the departed grocer. Down another, the former hardware store owner. Next to that, the woman's clothier or the long-gone pharmacist. So maybe I should not have been surprised to learn that in Portsmouth's OxyContin economy, when the new rural junkies needed to get well like everybody else, they turned to Walmart. Before OxyContin, it wasn't much to scrounge up $4 or $5 to buy a Lorcet or a Vicodin to get well. You could find that in your couch, said one addict. Then Oxy came around with its large dose of dope, high cost, and much stronger withdrawals. Suddenly, dope-sick junkies needed a place where they could quickly come up with $200 in merchandise to sell. The more money you need to get the pill, the more products got to be had, said Keith Henson, Mary Ann's husband. You could go to Walmart and spend a half hour in there and get enough for a pill or two. Of course, users could also con loved ones. They sold dope themselves. They broke into gun shops or robbed drug dealers. Lashed on by the morphine molecule, they did that a lot more. But for many, the enormous blue retailer drew them like a magnet. Barred from your local Walmart, another was 25 miles away in almost any direction. Some large, though immeasurable amount of the merchandise supporting addiction, as the opiates settled in heartland America, was mined from the aisles of Walmart, where main streets had gone to die. In Portsmouth's oxy economy, junkie shoplifters had to be flexible. On any given day, they might get orders for boys' shoes and a power saw, and a car stereo speaker and a T-bone steak. Once upon a time, that might have meant visits to 4 shops on Chillicothe Street. No longer. Walmart has such a big variety, said Angie Thuma, a former nurse who stole from Walmart for years as a street addict. I had people I would sell shoplifted items to on a daily basis. Everything was in one spot. If you need men's clothes, that's Walmart. If you needed shoes, I stole hundreds of pairs of shoes from Walmart. It was everything a person would want, all in one store. Walmart also regulated prices in the OxyContin economy. Shoplifters got half the value in pills of the price tag on the item. If there was no price listed on, say, a Black & Decker circular saw an addict was offering, Keith Henson said, well, you better call Walmart and do a price check. I'm looking for this Black & Decker circular saw. How much do them run? They'd tell you, it's $69.99. Keith would pay roughly half that in pills, usually an oxycodone 30, for that circular saw the addict was offering. Of course, prices were subject to a junkie's desperation. This was pitiless commerce. Mary Ann once offered a junkie an oxycodone 15 for a pair of stolen Nike Jordan basketball shoes because the guy was too dope sick to go find another buyer. She bought a refrigerator from a family with children for $3.30s. But generally, if a shoplifter stole a bag of diapers, Tide detergent, DVDs, and a power sander worth about $200 at Walmart, he had a reasonable expectation that the dealer in town would pay him half that value in pills, an OxyContin 80 and an Oxy 20. It helped that Walmart employees displayed little love for the store and its famously low wages. Some workers were strung out themselves. Some greeters were too old to recognize what was happening. Either way, a lot of Walmart workers had no hankering for a junkie face-off. They're making $10 an hour, said a veteran booster I met in Portsmouth. They can see the look on our faces. Don't get in our way. Every now and then you find one with a cape, one who's trying to get the manager position. The tough guy's going to try, but when I'm in withdrawal, I'm tougher. The opiate scourge might never have spread as quickly had these rural areas where it all started possessed a diversity in small retailers, whose owners had invested their lives in their stores, knew the addicts personally, and stood ready to defend against them. Walmart, though, allowed junkie shoplifters to play Santa to the pill economy, filling dealers' orders for toys and presents in exchange for dope. Well, it's getting to be Christmas, too. It's nice that that's in here, isn't it? Love the holidays. Angie Thuma supplied a half-dozen dealers with all their Christmas presents for several years running, and gifts for her kids as well. As it happened, Christmas Day was big for dealers, who opened for business awaiting junkies wanting to exchange for pills the gifts that they or their children received. For a couple of months before each Christmas, I couldn't steal enough, Thuma said. Even if I went several times a day, I didn't have enough arms to get everything they wanted. It was not only drug dealers who bought the lifted merchandise. Many in the town's depressed minimum wage economy were avid for a deal and didn't care too much where it came from. Some of Angie Thuma's best clients were middle-aged women raising their grandkids who couldn't get by on the salaries that they earned. But by and large, it was dealers who fueled the shoplifting trade and prodded the boosters to new ingenuity. As dealers prepared their kids to return to school in August, shoplifters fanned out armed with long order lists of clothes with kid sizes in shoes, shirts, and pants and school supplies. One kid I talked to wheeled a flat-screen TV through a Walmart tire shop, which rarely had much supervision, and had a door with no alarm. Line a purse with aluminum foil and the sensors of any merchandise you put in it wouldn't activate the alarms if you exited at Walmart. Thuma drove other boosters to Walmart, who'd go in the store and find a large box containing a child's outdoor plastic slide. They wheeled it into a secluded area of the store and emptied it. Then they would tour the store, filling the new, now empty box with DVD players, Xboxes, headphones, Tide detergent pods. They would pay the $20 that the slide cost and the wheel and box to exit. When the alarm invariably went off, they would show the elderly greeter the receipt and be waved out. Some electronic malfunction, no doubt, honey. Another veteran Walmart booster told me that he would wear very baggy clothing with long john underwear underneath, taped at the ankles. He'd walk through the store stuffing merchandise into his long johns, which would balloon out, though nothing would show under his baggy pants and shirt. I walked out of there. It looked like I was 400 pounds, he said. People in Portsmouth opened stores in their apartments, specializing in certain products, most of which they stole from Walmart. Garden supplies, tools, automotive equipment. One recovering addict told me he visited the apartment of a woman who stocked everything a baby needed. She had a bedroom you could go into. It was set up like a store. Diapers in one corner, baby food and formula, clothes on a dresser-like display table, he said. Then she'd have boxes of high chairs and strollers. She would go into Walmart to steal shit, or she'd have people go in there with orders and they'd deliver it to her. Walmart, for a long time, did not require a receipt for returned goods. Anything stolen could be returned for a gift card for the full value of the merchandise. Dealers bought those cards for half their value in pills. A $500 Walmart card was worth 3 Oxy 80s, for which the dealer had paid a few dollars with the Medicaid card scam. A vast trade in Walmart cards kept Portsmouth's army of pill dealers in household necessities. A Walmart receipt, meanwhile, could get you cash. Junkies scoured Walmart parking lots for discarded receipts. They'd steal the items on the receipt, flashing the paper at the greeter as they left. Then they'd return the merchandise with the receipt and exchange it for cash. Excuse me. Amid this madness, the sons and daughters of Portsmouth's business owners, the children of sheriff's captains and doctors and lawyers, saw a future in OxyContin. Some regarded pills as a grassroots response to economic catastrophe, the way some poor Mexican villagers view drug trafficking. Dealers who could not have found a legitimate job in moribund Portsmouth bartered pills to support themselves and feed their kids. Some remodeled dilapidated houses. Others bought cars or trucks. When 6 months ago there were kids going to school with shoes falling off their feet and now they have new shoes, we feel that's an accomplishment, Mary Ann said. Our parents had all this opportunity. Portsmouth was a booming place back then, with a bus system and trolley and jobs that lasted. We were raised with a sense of pride for our town, but when we get out into the real world, there's nothing to be proud of. We can't help our town. When we found a way to help our town, we did, which in turn backfired on everyone else, of course. Down in Jalisco Nayarit, black tar heroin lifted sugarcane farmers to the status of local merchants. In Portsmouth, middle-class pill addicts made choices that plunged them into underclass. They ended their education with high school. They had kids too young and weren't married when they did. Before long, they were pocked and penniless and on the street. But as a generation of kids wasted away in post-industrial Portsmouth, their parents were unable to not give them gas money to get them to a new job that never existed. They couldn't bring themselves to not pay their bail or their electric bill. When some of these kids died, mortified parents told neighbors that their son had a heart attack or their daughter had died from injuries sustained in the car accident. It took a full decade before a Portsmouth mother was able to reject pretense and be the first in the state to say publicly that dope killed her son. All right, we'll continue with the next chapter, A Criminal Case, next. That's on page 220. Hope you're enjoying the book, guys. Talk to you later.